All right, we are getting started here with the Domihoes Fantasy Draft Simulation here in Madden 24. This is going to be to determine the fantasy draft order for the 2024 season of the upcoming Domihoes Fantasy Football League. We got 10 different teams here, all with skill position players from the 2023 season on each respective team. Starting off here, we've got the Denver Broncos, which were my main team defense that I had for the majority of last season during the fantasy season. And so I went ahead and put all of the offensive skill position players that I had on my fantasy team onto the Broncos. So, it creates for like a fun little experiment in Madden because most of the offenses are really high powered since all of us had really good players. And so, I'm excited to see how this goes. Should be really fun. We got all of the stuff set up properly. It took quite a while, but it should be really fun. So starting off at quarterback, I've got Dak here as my QB1, 93 overall. Just really solid option for, the simulation in the regular season. He'll put up some crazy stats. He usually does. And then got Kyler Murray backing him up. He might not really factor in too much, maybe just for like fake field goals and stuff like that. But I turned off injuries for this league so that we could get everyone's players playing the whole season, accumulating those crazy stats and all that kind of stuff. I didn't want to deal with any weirdness like during the playoffs or anything when the simulation really matters, when we're doing the head-to-head matchups between each of our teams to like decide the draft order. So that's why I went ahead and, turned injuries off and everything. Moving on to halfback, we've got Bijan Robinson, Texas legend, hook 'em. Breece Hall, Javonte Williams, Ezekiel Elliott, Cowboys legend. And then Tajay Spears. So really past like your second running back, these guys don't factor in too much in Madden, unfortunately. That's just kind of the way the game is. But these first two guys should be really good. Even though Breece is an 84 overall, Bijan's an 83. I just like Bijan a lot more in the game. I feel like he'll simulate a little bit better. I just wanted him starting on my team, so that's what I elected to go with. At fullback, it really doesn't matter with fullback. Like some teams don't have one, some teams do, like the Niners, for example, with Kyle Juszczyk. In the case of teams that don't have a fullback, I usually went ahead and just put a backup running back at fullback, just to kind of get that guy on the field more, maybe accumulate some more stats, all that kind of stuff. So it doesn't really matter. But, moving on to wide receiver, we've got CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, Deontay Johnson, Calvin Ridley, and Jackson Smith-Njigba rounding out a very nice receiving core. CD and Jamar up top, just really good options, all that kind of stuff. And you'll see as we kind of go along as well with everyone's teams, the receiving core gets like really crazy. Just guys that should not be on the same team. But, in fantasy land, it's like, oh man, yeah, these guys playing together, simulating, watching them in the games and stuff. It'll be really fun to see like what kind of crazy stats they put up. At tight end, I've got Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, both teammates for the Baltimore Ravens and as well on these imaginary Denver Broncos. For each team as well, the offensive line is going to be the same as just their regular offensive line in real life. So the Broncos, these guys aren't too bad, hovering around like a 75 to like 80 something overall. So nothing like special, but they should get the job done for the most part. And then the defensive personnel is going to be just the same as it is in real life. I went ahead and for like rush defensive ends, rush defensive tackles, sub linebackers, slot corner, all that kind of stuff. I tried to put the best personnel in those positions to contribute to team success and like just to help like win and all that sort of stuff. I did the same thing across all team defenses. I've played this game quite a bit, so I kind of know how the sim works and how, certain positions contribute to team success more than others. So, I try to do this as fairly as I could between every team, and we'll see that more as we go along too. So, yeah, just all like base personnel, all that kind of stuff. Broncos defense doesn't really have anyone good in the front seven, but obviously PS2, Patrick Surtain, really, really good young corner out of Alabama. Arguably the best in the league. Sauce Gardner's up there as well. But yeah, Patrick Surtain, really good. Justin Simmons is still on the team here in Madden as well, because these rosters are based on the 2023 season. So even though he's not on the Broncos in real life currently, he is here, so he'll factor in as well. Really good player. For kicker, I went ahead across everyone's teams. I put the kicker that was on their team for the majority of the fantasy season. So, like my team, for example, we've got Young Wei Koo here. He was on my team for most of the year, so he'll be, whenever the offense bogs down in the red zone, or hopefully he's drilling those 50, 60 plus yarders, all that kind of stuff. So, and then kick returner, I got Deontay Johnson here. Just solid return man. Same with Devontae Smith. They both got pretty decent speed, so hopefully they'll factor in a little bit. Let's see, none of this really matters. Third down running back, went with Bijan as well, just to get him in those shotgun personnel packages, as well as like catching screens, going out, catching passes, all that kind of stuff. Because that's, right in his wheelhouse. He's a really good receiving back. Power back, I also went with Bijan, so he'll be in the goal line packages and all that stuff, towards the goal line. Running in touchdowns, getting those short yardage first downs, all that kind of stuff. And then slot receiver, we've got Devontae Smith in the slot. So CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase will both line up outside. And then Devontae in the slot should get really, really good sim stats. Usually the slot receiver in Madden, in most playbooks, is going to get like really, really good stats. So having Devontae there, that's just what I decided to go with. And then, you'll see here, rush left end, rush right end. I put guys here that, I think can create optimal results for the defense and help contribute to wins, which is what we want for like every team. Sub linebacker, I did the same thing. It's kind of a crapshoot because the sim can be kind of random at times. But just went ahead and tried to do the best I could with this. So yeah, that's the Broncos team. And moving on here, next up we've got the Browns, which are Ruben's team. Ruben had the Browns defense for most of the season. So I've got all of his players on here. We've got Jalen Hurts, QB1, 88 overall. He's, superstar X Factor, really, really good in the game. I'm excited to see how he'll do, honestly. And then I've got Sam Howell backing him up because he was on Ruben's team for most of the year. Yeah, Jalen Hurts, QB for the Browns. He'll be really awesome. At halfback, and this is funny because, Ruben had Nick Chubb, drafted him at the beginning of the year. And then, obviously Nick Chubb had the gruesome knee injury that ended his season, but he's 6 on the Browns here, even in imaginary fantasy land. 97 overall, wrecking ball, superstar X Factor. He'll be really, really good in the simulation along with Jalen Hurts, the read option game, all that kind of stuff. Got Aaron Jones backing him up, Alvin Kamara, and then Rachaad White. So really good running back room. Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, really good thunder and lightning combo with Nick Chubb. So I look forward to see, like how that sims, how those stats pan out, all that kind of stuff. Fullback, I've got Alvin Kamara at fullback, hopefully getting him on the field more, all that kind of stuff. Wide receiver, really good room for Ruben as well here. We got Amon-Ra St. Brown from the Detroit Lions. 92 overall, he's, really good. Just like inside-outside kind of guy. Plays that kind of big slot role that Cooper Kupp does for the Rams similarly. DK Metcalf on the outside, 86 overall. Not quite as high as I would like him to be in the game, but, 96 speed, 95 acceleration, 6'4", 235. He's just a freak of nature. So DK will be really good in the game. Christian Kirk being an 85 overall, he's good, but this one was a little bit questionable to me personally. But in the game, 85 overall, 90 plus speed acceleration, he should be pretty solid. Jordan Addison, really good rookie year, caught so many touchdowns. Tank Dell, even though he got hurt, he was really solid as well for CJ Stroud, all those guys. And then Elijah Moore rounding out the receiving core for Ruben. So really good group. Tight end, we've got Darren Waller, New York Giants legend, even though he just retired and didn't really do anything with the Giants in his tenure there. But he's good in the game still, 85 overall. And then Trey McBride backing him up at an 80 overall. I think he should be higher, but, it is what it is. So those two guys going to be really solid. And then the Browns' offensive line in the game is really, really good because Jedrick Wills is pretty solid. Joel Bitonio, he's really old, but very good. Ethan Posick is also very, very good. Wyatt Teller here, he's been really good for a while, actually. It was, after he left the Bills and then went over to the Browns, he just turned it on, first team All-Pro, his first season there. So he'll be really good. And then Jack Conklin rounding it out on the right side. So, yeah, Browns offense really should be pretty good for Ruben. The simulation stats should be pretty good. this is not a team I want to see in the playoffs whenever we do the head-to-head simulations. And then to round it all out, the Browns defense is very good in the game. Very good personnel, very good playbooks. Myles Garrett, obviously. You can't talk about the Browns defense without Myles Garrett. 98 overall in the game. Superstar X Factor. He is an absolute beast, both in real life and in Madden land. I would not be surprised if he broke like 30-plus sacks in the simulation this year. So we'll see how he does. Should be really exciting. Defensive tackle, Shelby Harris, Dalvin Tomlinson, all these guys, pretty solid. Nothing to write home about. Just really solid players for the Browns defense, all in all. JOK, Owusu Koromoa, he's very good, very young. A little bit injury prone in real life, but in Madden, injuries are turned off. He should be a beast. Catch a lot of picks, tackles, all that kind of stuff. Browns cornerback room is awesome as well. Denzel Ward, obviously, Greg Newsome. These guys are excellent. Safeties are pretty solid. Grant Delpit out of LSU, he's, good young player. And then Ruben's kicker is Dustin Hopkins, who is, funnily enough, the Browns kicker in real life. So that's pretty cool. Kick returner, I went with Christian Kirk. He's a really good return man in real life. And I also have him at punt returner. So, hopefully he'll do pretty well for Ruben there. Let's see. And yeah, none of this really matters. Third down back, we've got Aaron Jones. So he'll be catching a lot of those passes out of the backfield, screens, all that kind of stuff. And then power back, we've got Nick Chubb, obviously. Short yardage, goal line, he's your man. He's the guy that you want there. And then slot receiver, we've got Amon-Ra St. Brown. So his stats should be really good, and that should allow him to really succeed for this team. So then, rush ends, we've got Myles Garrett, we've got Zadarius Smith. So Browns defense is going to be very, very, very good. See, moving on, we have up next the Chiefs. So this is going to be Mason's team, because Mason had the Chiefs defense for the majority of the year. In my personal opinion, I would probably bet on Mason's team to win the entire thing, and you'll see why in just a little bit here, because his team is insane. In our fantasy league, all these guys kind of struggled with injuries, and so Mason, unfortunately, ended up not winning the league, even though he probably should have it if his guys were healthy. However, in Madden land here, imaginary land, with all the injuries turned off, we've got Justin Herbert as QB1, which is really funny on the Chiefs, because obviously he plays for the Chargers in real life. Mahomes is on the Chiefs. They're rivals, and so seeing Justin Herbert in a Chiefs uniform is kind of weird. But, he'll be really good for them for sure. Matt Stafford backing him up. He won't see the field, but he's there for morale. At halfback, now this is interesting because of Mason's receiver personnel. I asked him what he wanted me to do, and I had the idea of putting Debo at running back here because he has 5 really solid receivers that all wouldn't see the field if they were all left in the receiver room. So moving Debo to running back here just makes a lot of sense. He's a 97 overall running back, which is a little surprising, but not really, because that's his game. In the NFL, he's just, once he gets in the open field, really tough to bring him down. So he's going to be insane in this offense. And then got Pacheco, Devon Achane, and Kyron Williams all backing him up. These are all really good running backs too, but they're just unfortunately not going to see the field with Debo just kind of dominating there. Fullback, we've got Ramondre Stevenson. So, he'll see the field a little bit. And then receiver is where it gets crazy. So we've got Justin Jefferson, best receiver in the NFL. Michael Pittman, backing him up as well. Garrett Wilson, and Gabe Davis, who is an 84 overall in this game. So these 4, along with Debo at running back, really, really, really potent offense. And then at tight end, it gets even better because George Kittle, 97 overall, he's tight end 1. And then we got Dalton Kincaid backing him up at an 80 overall. So, yeah, the Chiefs offense in this simulation is going to be very, very scary, all things considered, especially considering the Chiefs' offensive line is one of the strengths of their team. Joe Thuney, 92 overall, Creed Humphrey, 90 overall, Trey Smith at an 88. Their tackles aren't amazing, but the interior offensive line is going to be incredible. And then the defense is also really solid. We've seen in real life last year, they were a big part of the Chiefs' recent Super Bowl run. A lot of that has to do with big number 95 95 overall, funnily enough. Chris Jones out of Mississippi State. Really good pass rusher, good run defender. He's just, he does it all for them. He's like the anchor for that defense. So he should be really good in this simulation. Rest of the guys, just regular Chiefs defensive personnel. Nick Bolton, Willie Gay, Trent McDuffie, L'Jarius Sneed. Even though he's in the Titans, or on the Titans in real life now, he's still on the Chiefs in this simulation, so he should be really good. Good pairing with Trent McDuffie. Safeties are pretty solid. Justin Reed. Then kicker, we got Jake Elliott, because he was Mason's kicker for the majority of the year. Then kick returner, I've got Devon Achane, so that speed, on kick returns, also going to be lethal. And then I believe, I've also got him returning punts here, so should be really good. This Chiefs team, they are really scary. Debo is third down back, because he's got that pass catching skill set, obviously, as a normal receiver in real life, but he's playing halfback here. And then power back, I've also got Debo, just because I want to get him as many touches as possible, and he should be really good for the offense. Slot receiver, we got Justin Jefferson in the slot. So honestly, him and Justin Herbert really, the stats should go crazy with Jefferson in the slot, Jay Jettis. And then, all the defense and stuff is just, normal, all that kind of stuff. Edge rushers and everything. So Chiefs team, crazy. They're going to be very good. Next up is going to be the Dallas Cowboys, everyone's favorite football team. Not really, but, most of us are Cowboys fans in real life, unfortunately. So hopefully they can do better in this simulation and, win for Ashlyn, because she had the Cowboys defense for the majority of the year. And so her team here, we've got Joe Burrow, Joey B, Joe Shiesty, Joe Burr, whatever you want to say. All the nicknames get pretty exhausting after a while, but he's good. Really good quarterback, 93 overall, wearing number 9 as well, which is funny. Hopefully this number 9 for the Cowboys can do better than what Romo was able to do. Although I will go on the record, Tony Romo deserved much better. Should have won a Super Bowl, but Jerry Jones and the Jones family are a bunch of hacks, so they didn't do what it took to put a good team in front of him. I could go on for hours, but I'll spare everyone the rambling here. But Joe Burrow, really good quarterback, 93 overall. He'll be awesome. Tua Tagovailoa is a 90 overall in the game, which it sucks that he won't see the field, because he would be really good. But playing behind Joe Burrow, it's just not going to work. Funny enough, both of these guys were in the same draft class, taken within about 5 picks of each other. I think Tua was number 6 overall. Yeah, because the Chargers, I think, took Herbert number 5, and then Tua went number 6, and obviously Burrow was number 1. So, fun little nugget there. At halfback for Ashlyn's team, we've got Christian McCaffrey, 98 overall. Just crazy. I mean, he's, along with Joe Burrow, going to be just excellent. Put up all the stats, especially in Cowboys playbook, because the running backs typically do really well in Cowboys playbook on offense. So it'll be really cool. Derrick Henry backing him up at 94 overall. This almost happened in real life, funny enough, but they didn't want to pay him, and now he's on the Ravens. So it's sad, but it is what it is. Then we've got James Conner backing him up and Austin Eckler. So really good running back room. Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, really good thunder and lightning combo once again. Just 2 very different play styles, but 2 very excellent running backs in different ways. So it'll be cool. Got Derrick Henry playing fullback. Again, hopefully he'll see the field more, all that kind of stuff. Wide receiver is where it gets a little dicey because it's not quite as strong in the game as I think it is in real life. Like, I think Nico Collins is much better than an 81 overall, but, same with Marquise Brown. I think he's closer to like an 84, 85 maybe. But they're pretty low rated in the game, so that'll be fine, though. But we got Keenan Allen at a 91 overall heading up the wide receiver room. Like, Jacoby Myers being rated higher than Marquise Brown and Nico Collins feels a little wrong to me, but, it is what it is. So, Jacoby Myers there, Marquise Brown at wide receiver 3, Nico Collins at wide receiver 4. So a pretty solid group, all things considered. Then at tight end, we've got Evan Ingram and David Njoku. Really good tight end room, both at an 88 overall. I think I'd probably take Njoku in a vacuum, just because Ingram drops the ball a little bit too much for my liking. But in the game, both of these guys, they should be excellent choices. And then we've got the Cowboys offensive line. Tyron Smith is still here. He's not on the Jets yet, so that's going to be a problem to deal with. Tyler Smith at left guard, very good. Tyler Biotish at center, he's solid. Should be fine enough. Probably the best player on the Cowboys. Maybe not now, but I think at this point in 2023, Zach Martin was still the best player on the Cowboys. 99 overall here. He is just insane, so he'll be really good. Right tackle, we got Terrence Steele. Could be better. I'm not the biggest Terrence Steele fan, but he should be fine in the simulation here. Then at left end, DeMarcus Lawrence, obviously. We got Micah Parsons. Just, your regular cornerstones for the Cowboys defense that we all know and love. Leighton Vander Esch is still here. We got Stephon Gilmore, Trevon Diggs, Deron Bland, all healthy, all accounted for, so they should be a really good corner room for this, for the simulation. Stats should be really good. Malik Hooker, Marquise Bell, Donovan Wilson, all the guys. Kicker, we got Jason Sanders because he was Ashland's kicker for most of the year. And then kick returner, we got Kavontae Turpin. He's that kick returner, punt returner. I figured keeping him on the team, even if he wasn't on her roster in the fantasy league, keeping him here, he should be, a decent kick returner, all that kind of stuff. And it's not like unfair or anything. Third down running back, we've got Christian McCaffrey. Obviously, he'll catch all the passes, do all that dirty work out, like blocking for receivers and stuff like that. And then at power back, we've got Derrick Henry for those short yardage goal line situations. So yeah, again, a really good 1-2 punch between these guys. Should be really, really good to see here. The sim stats should be excellent. And then slot receiver, we got Keenan Allen. He typically operates in the slot anyways, so this is just pretty normal. Stats should be, once again, I know I'm saying it a lot, but yeah, the way it's been set up, I think all of the stats should be pretty optimal for what each roster is constructed with and all that kind of stuff. So, but that is the Dallas Cowboys in this imaginary situation once again. Moving on, we have the hated Cowboys rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles, who are Kervin's team in this simulation because he had the Eagles defense for the majority of the year. We got Trevor Lawrence and Jordan Love at quarterback here. Jordan Love's a 79, Trevor Lawrence only a 76. However, Trevor Lawrence does have superstar development, and Jordan Love only has star, I believe, so Trevor Lawrence will develop a lot faster. That's why I'm starting him here. And I've talked with Kervin and confirmed this with him as well. So yeah, he'll be a higher overall than Jordan Love by the time the playoffs come around when, the games really matter and we're doing the head-to-head matchups and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, got those two guys there. Really solid, really solid. Let's see, halfback. We got Travis Etienne, 89 overall. Having him as a higher overall than Jonathan Taylor feels a little weird to me, but again, it's the game. It is what it is. And then we got, Jonathan Taylor, 87 overall, really good option. And then Kareem Hunt as well. He'll give the team a real kick, getting them kind of jump started and working hard, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, moving on. 1-2 punch, Thunder and Lightning, similar thing with ETN and Jonathan Taylor here. That'll be cool. And then at fullback, I've got Sam Laporta, because we'll see later on we have a better tight end option. But hopefully that'll just get him some more passes out of the backfield, all that kind of stuff. He'll be a solid blocking option for our two running backs. And then at wide receiver is where it gets really crazy for Kervin's team. So we got A.J. Brown sticking on the Eagles here in this simulation, imaginary fantasy land. A.J. Brown, can't say enough about him. Really good. DK Metcalf's teammate at Ole Miss. Both guys are, height, weight, speed freaks, all that kind of stuff. 96 overall here, superstar X Factor. He will be very good. Same with Stephon Diggs, who is a 95 overall in this still. The tandem between him and A.J. Brown going to be really, really good. I should say even the trio with Brandon Ayuk at a 91 overall. All three of these guys are going to be insanely good. Crazy to see all of them on the same team. We got Drake London at wide receiver 4, 82 overall. Nothing to scoff at for sure. I've got him starting over Adam Thielen, who is an 84 overall just because he's younger, and he'll develop a lot faster and become a better player quicker in this simulation here. So yeah, we got Adam Thielen rounded it out at the bottom 5. And then at tight end, we've got Kyle Pitts, Falcons legend, the versatile weapon, etc., etc. Got an 84 overall, superstar X Factor. And then, he's starting over Sam Laporta, who's an 81 here. Better overall, better dev trade. Kyle Pitts should be really good for the offense. And then Eagles offensive line, we know, is like one of the best in the league. All really good players. Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Jason Kelsey, who is not retired in this fantasy world. Cam Jurgens at right guard, nothing to write home about, but he's solid. Then Lane Johnson, 96 overall, he's crazy good. Eagles defense is old, but pretty solid. I've kind of moved some of the defensive line guys around, like Jalen Carter. I've put him at 3-4 defensive ends, so he'll be playing like more of a hybrid role as like a defensive tackle, like interior pass rusher kind of guy. So we got those guys. Got Fletcher Cox at defensive tackle, Jordan Davis. Hassan Reddick's going to be rushing the passer for sure. Just really, really good players. Really good players on this Eagles defense. Darius Slay, James Bradbury, Kevin Byard, formerly of the Tennessee Titans, Reed Blankenship. And then we got Evan McPherson, the Bengals kicker, because he was Curve's kicker for most of the year. Kick returner, we got Quez Watkins because he's very fast. 97 speed, 95 acceleration. Same at punt returner. Then third down back, I've got Travis Etienne, once again, catching the passes, doing all that business. And then Jonathan Taylor is the power back to vulture all those touchdowns. Slot receiver, I went ahead and put Diggs in the slot. So he'll be putting up those crazy, crazy simulation stats. And then, rest defensive ends, none of that matters. So, that's the Eagles team in this franchise. What's next? Oh, we got the 49ers up next. They are Danny's team, as she had their defense for most of the year. It was between them and the Ravens, and I think she had the 49ers for like one more week than she had the Ravens, so it was very close. But Niners defense is going to be insane for her in this simulation again. We got Jared Goff, Geno Smith as her two quarterbacks. Jared Goff, he should be fine. I mean, he won't be as crazy as some of the other quarterbacks, but based on the weapons that are on this team, I think he should be able to put up really, really good stats and, get those dubs. At halfback, we've got Tony Pollard, 88 overall. Pretty disappointing in real life, but in the game, he should be pretty good. 93 speed, 95 acceleration. He'll get it done for sure. Najee Harris backing him up at an 83 overall. Then we got Gus Edwards and Devin Singletary rounding out the bench. Not an insane running back group, but I think they're definitely pretty solid for what they offer. Once again, with the thunder and lightning kind of situation, which we had with Tony Pollard and Zeke a couple years ago, and now we got it with Najee Harris here. So that'll be exciting to see. Fullback, we got Kyle Juszczyk. He'll be great. Best fullback in the league. As much as that means, I mean, if I don't know if it's really that important, but he is the best one, so that'll be cool. Wide receiver here, we got DJ Moore, 89 overall. Terry McLaurin, also 89 overall, also superstar X Factor, so two really good options. Puka Nacua at an 83 overall, and then Rashee Rice at an 80. So really solid weapons for Danny's team here. I think along with Jared Goff and the running backs, it's not the most insane offensive skill position group that we've seen, with like the other teams, but I think it'll be really solid, honestly, because these guys are all young. They'll develop really quickly and, all that kind of stuff. And finishing it off here at tight end, we've got Dallas Goedert at an 86 overall and Jake Ferguson at a 78. So, Dallas Goedert should be really good. He's one of the more underrated tight ends in the league, I think. A little injury prone, but, I like what he does. And then, Niners offensive line, obviously really good. They're not amazing, as we've kind of seen in real life. They can be kind of vulnerable. But Trent Williams, he's as good as they come. 98 overall, excellent player. We got all the other scrubs here as well. They're not awful, but they're not going to be like insanely good either, or even above average. However, the Niners defense is where things get really, really advantageous for Danny's team. We've got Nick Bosa, we got Chase Young rushing the passer here. Got Javon Hargrave as well as Javon Kinlaw and Eric Armstead, all really good options. And then left outside linebacker, that's okay, nothing crazy. But Fred Warner, got him at a 96 overall. He's the best middle linebacker in the league. He will definitely make his presence felt in the simulation, so that should be cool. Trey Greenlaw, really good as well. Horrible injury in the Super Bowl. Hope he gets better as soon as possible, because that was really sad to see. But yeah, Charvarius Ward, we've got him at a 91 here, so he'll be a really good top option for the corner group. Diamador Lenoir as an 82 overall. Ambry Thomas here. Safeties are okay. Talanoa Hufunga is the one to write home about. He was, I think he was a first-team All-Pro this year. Can't remember, but he's really come a long way. 91 overall. And then at kicker, we've got the Bills kicker, Tyler Bass, as that's the one that Danny had for most of the year. And then kick returner here, we got Ray McLeod. 90 speed, 92 acceleration. Not amazing, but he should get the job done. And then Tony Pollard, we've got returning punts. A little bit faster, so he should be pretty good there. Third down back, I've got Tony Pollard catching all the passes, all that kind of stuff. And then power back, I've got Najee Harris for those short yardage, goal line, touchdown, goal to go situations. So yeah, should be really good. And then slot receiver, yeah, we got DJ Moore in the slot, so he should eat, get those crazy stats, develop quickly, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, Niners team is pretty good, pretty good. That's another one because of like the defense as well, in combination with like the really good offensive personnel. I think they could be really, really, really surprising in like how good they are. Moving on, next up we've got the Jets, which are Phillips' team in the franchise here. He had their defense for most of the year, so we all know like Jets defense, that's been the strength of the team for years now. It's just they haven't really been able to put the offense together. However, with the guys that Phillip has on his fantasy team migrating over to the Jets offense here, maybe they can get something done. Maybe they can be a little frisky in the playoffs. So yeah, we got Lamar Jackson, reigning MVP at quarterback, 97 overall, 96 speed, 95 acceleration, 95 agility, 95 change of direction, 93 throw power. Like he is like as good of a player. Like if you created the ideal quarterback that you wanted to play as in Madden, it would be Lamar Jackson. He's just puts up the video game numbers. He's, awesome. One of my favorite players in the league for sure. Russell Wilson backing him up. Mr. Unlimited. He will not see the field at all. Moving on. At halfback, we've got Kenneth Walker, 87 overall from the Seahawks. Really good big play threat. He breaks those long runs. 94 speed, 94 acceleration. I look forward to seeing how he develops in this and kind of, works alongside Lamar and like the read option game and all that stuff. Should be really fun. Raheem Mostert at an 86 overall, even faster than Kenneth Walker, funnily enough. 95 speed, 95 acceleration. He's an old man, but, he's still got those wheels. He's really good. And then Brian Robinson backing those guys up. Then at fullback, that doesn't matter. Then wide receiver, we've got D-Hop. Old, but, still really good. He's got the hands. Catch radius, goes up, high points the football. Love D-Hop, for sure. 89 overall here. Portland Sutton at an 84, Jerry Jeudy 82, Romeo Dobbs at a 78, and then Tutu Atwell at a 75. So pretty solid receiving core. I think they should get it done for Lamar. Tight end, we got Jonnu Smith and Logan Thomas as Phillips' two tight ends. Not amazing, but, serviceable. They should be able to get the job done. Jets offensive line, they've been rebuilding it more in recent years. So, we got some pretty solid pieces here. Joe Tedman was just drafted recently. AVT, I think he's one of the best young guards in the league. I think he should be higher than an 80 overall, honestly. I think he's a really good player. Struggles with injuries, but he can play all over the offensive line. Really like him. Right tackle, we got Mekhi Becton. Also struggled with injuries, but I think a good player still. Now, the Jets defense is very good. They've got edge rushers for days, defensive linemen for days. Just, Quinnen Williams, 94 overall. They've got excellent players everywhere you look. Middle linebacker CJ Mosley, he'll be really good. Quincy Williams, really good players. Sauce Gardner, up there with Patrick Surtain as the best cornerback in the league, as I was saying earlier. DJ Reed, Michael Carter, really solid options. So yeah, Jets defense coupled with Lamar on offense, I think they could be really good. Phillips' team is scary. And then kicker, we got Brandon Aubrey because Phillip had him for most of the year. Cowboys legend. Put some respect on his name. He was very surprisingly good. It was a very welcome surprise to see as a Cowboys fan last year. moving on. Kick returner here, we got Raheem Mostert, 95 speed. Again, he'll just get the job done, hopefully break off a couple. And I've also got him at punt returner here. Third down back, yeah, Raheem Mostert, so he'll be catching those passes and everything, putting in that work. And then power back, yeah, I've got Kenneth Walker for those short yardage, goal-to-go situations again, so should get a lot of touchdowns, along with Lamar running the football. Slot receiver, I put D-Hop in the slot just to, get those sim stats up, help him develop. He should be really good there with Judy and Sutton flanking on the outside. And yeah, that is the New York Jets in this imaginary fantasy franchise. Alrighty, moving on again. We've got the Patriots. This is Christopher's team. He had their defense for most of the year. And I think this one's more low-key because, when you first look at it, you're thinking, the Patriots, their defense isn't really good. Who do they really have? But just hear me out. Christopher's team, they could also be really crazy. I think they might even challenge Mason's team or some of the other stronger teams that we've seen already towards the start of the video. But, he's got Pat Mahomes, MV Pat, the guy, young GOAT, all that kind of stuff, whatever you want to say. 99 overall, he's crazy in the game. He always puts up insane stats, regardless of where he's at, regardless of what playbook he's in. So he'll be crazy. Then at halfback, we got James Cook, A.J. Dillon, and Alexander Madison, as well as Jaleel McLaughlin. So not crazy, but James Cook should be really good as a RB1. He's young. He'll develop really quickly. Fullback, I've got A.J. Dillon. I mean, he kind of plays like a fullback already anyways, let's be honest. He's not the best running back, unfortunately, for the Packers. Hope he does better, but, it's a tall task. And then a wide receiver is where it gets super crazy for Christopher's team. So he's got Tyreek Hill, reunited with Patrick Mahomes in this fantasy land. 99 speed, 99 acceleration, 98 agility, 99 change of direction. They are going to be a problem. Superstar X Factor as well. We got Cooper Kupp backing him up. So you got the perfect blend of deep threat, taking the top off the defense, and then Cooper Kupp just eating underneath, in the slot, all that kind of stuff. We got Tyler Lockett as well, 88 overall here. He'll be really solid as a deep threat opposite of Tyreek Hill. Zay Flowers, 84 overall. He'll do a great job spelling those guys coming in, substituting in, all that kind of stuff. We got Brandon Cooks, who's an 83. Jahan Dotson. This receiving core might be my favorite in the game out of all the teams we've looked at so far and all the ones we'll see later on in the video as well. Just a crazy group of receivers. It's insanely good. Tight end, we've got Tyler Higbee and Jawan Johnson as his two tight ends. Not the best, but, we don't really need them to be good because these receivers, man, ooh, they are crazy. And then at left tackle here, we've got Christian Darrisaw. We got Cole Strange, David Andrews. Yeah, offensive line is just solid. Not amazing. Kind of similar to the Broncos' offensive line. They're not the best, but they're definitely not the worst. They won't kill you. Especially with Pat at quarterback, it just, Mahomes is just going to get it done no matter what. The defense is not incredibly good, but they do have a lot of good young players that can develop quickly, if things kind of fall correctly. So Matt Judon, formerly of the Ravens, really good pass rusher. I definitely look forward to seeing how his stats go. Yeah, secondary is pretty solid. Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon, they drafted in 2023. Yeah, I think they drafted him last year. Yeah, they did. So he's really good, even already. With his season-ending injury last year, I look forward to seeing him come back healthy because he's a good player. Then at kicker, we got Daniel Carlson, the Raiders kicker, because Chris had him for most of the year. So should be good. Kick returner, we got Tyler Lockett, and then Tyreek Hill returning punts. So all the speed. Chris just has speed for days. All his receivers are crazy. So those guys should house a couple kicks, hopefully. James Cook at third down back and A.J. Dillon at power back. So good balance there. And then I've got Cooper Kupp in the slot. That's where he always eats anyways. So, yeah, this Pats team, they could be frisky. They could be frisky. On paper, they're not a God squad or anything, but, man, they the Mahomes to Tyreek connection could be alive and well for sure. Then moving on here, we've got Chase's team. the Pittsburgh Steelers. He had their defense for the majority of the season. So we got C.J. Stroud, Justin Fields, which this is actually really funny because I put Fields on this team, well before he signed with the Steelers or anything, and now he's on the Steelers in real life. So, I didn't predict the future or anything, but I'm just saying, it's a little crazy. But anyways, C.J. Stroud, 80 overall. I believe he has superstar dev in the game too, so he'll get those abilities. That'll help his sim stats be a little better. So yeah, really good player. Put on arguably the best rookie season that any quarterback has put up statistically in NFL history. Really look forward to seeing him in year 2. Great player, great guy, all that kind of stuff. Moving on to halfback. Chase's halfback room is by far the best in the league. Like, it's just not even close. Saquon Barkley, 93 overall, on the opposite Pennsylvania team in real life in Philadelphia, but here he is over in Pittsburgh with the Steelers in this fantasy draft franchise. Yeah, 93 overall, superstar X Factor, just a really good player, obviously. Injuries suck, but he should be good this year. Josh Jacobs at a 90 overall, superstar X Factor as well. Really good 1-2 punch with the power back in Jacobs and the speed, the pass catching in Saquon. DeAndre Swift at an 85 overall, he's really solid as well. And then David Montgomery at an 84, rounding it out. I really love this running back room, and I wish there was a way that we could get every guy involved, but unfortunately, it realistically will probably be only Jacobs and Saquon that get the bulk of the stats. Fullback, I've got Josh Jacobs there. Wide receiver, his receiver room also might be my favorite out of anyone in the league, because he's got Devontae Adams at a 94 overall, superstar X Factor. He'll be really good for C.J. Stroud in this. Mari Cooper at a 90 overall on his AFC North rival, Steelers here, although he's on the Browns in real life. Jalen Waddle at an 87 overall, 98 speed, 97 acceleration. He should be a very good third option. It's crazy that he's even the third option on this team. Chris Godwin at an 85. Having him as a fourth option is crazy. But yeah, no, Chase's wide receiver room is insane for sure. And then even at tight end, he's got 90 overall TJ Hawkinson. And then, yeah, that's right. One thing I played around with here was, again, similar to how I did Debo as a running back earlier, because I want these 4 receivers to all get involved and all that kind of stuff. Went ahead and moved T. Higgins over to tight end. He's 6'4", he's 220 pounds, so he's a little light in the ass for being a tight end, but he's an 86 overall here. He should be a really good second option behind TJ Hawkinson. Should get him involved. So yeah, this offense should be extremely good for Chase. I'm really excited to see how they simulate. Steelers offensive line, they've done a good job of rebuilding it in recent years, so I think it should be pretty good for the simulation. Yeah, just, solid guys. Not crazy, but not bad either. The Steelers defense is definitely the strength of the team. Having that in tandem with the offense should be very cool to see. Cam Hayward, really good. I think he's retired, but he'll still be here for this. We got TJ Watt, obviously one of the best, not even defensive players, but one of the best players in the league, period. 97 overall, superstar X Factor. He is going to be the engine that drives the bus of this Steelers defense for sure. Yeah, Alex Highsmith, Pat Peterson, Joey Porter Jr., son of Steelers legend Joey Porter. One of the cooler storylines from the 2023 draft whenever the Steelers took him. Free safety, Micah Fitzpatrick, very good, obviously. He's been good for a while now. And then Chris Boswell was Chase's kicker that he had for the majority of the year. And funny enough, he's on the Steelers in real life, so he gets to stay on his team here. Kick returner, I've got Jalen Waddle because of the speed. Punt returner, we've got Patrick Peterson. He returned punts a lot at LSU, actually, whenever he was playing DB there. He was really good at that, so he should be pretty solid here as well. Third down back, we've got Saquon catching all the passes. Power back, I've got Josh Jacobs. So those two guys should put up insane numbers, both being over 90 overall especially. Because Madden simulation is weird with how they do running back simulation stats. It's like, if you have a running back that's below a 90 overall, they just won't be good no matter what. But as soon as they hit 90 plus overall, they're just crazy. So having 2 of those guys on the same team should be really interesting to see, how Chase's team does with that. Then in the slot, I went ahead and put Devontae there just to put up crazy stats and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be Jalen Waddle, and then who else was it? I forgot. Yeah, it'll be Jalen Waddle and Amari Cooper on the outside. So really fun team. I like Chase's team a lot here. Definitely one of the ones that I think could be up there along with like Mason's team, the Chiefs, all that kind of stuff. And last, but certainly not least, we have Dylan's team, the Buffalo Bills. Nobody circles the wagons, am I right? So here, that's the team defense that Dylan had for most of the year. He's got Josh Allen at quarterback. It's funny. It's his team in real life. Dylan loves Josh Allen, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, he should be really good here. 94 overall, superstar X Factor. He's always pretty good in sim. Always puts up good stats. So I look forward to seeing how he does. Baker Mayfield backing him up. It's an all aura quarterback room between Baker and Josh Allen. At halfback here, we've got Joe Mixon, 91 overall. He'll be really solid for Dylan for sure. Jalen Warren at an 81 overall. And then Damian Pierce backing him up too. So yeah, really solid running back room, all things considered. Joe Mixon taking the bulk of the carries. Fullback doesn't matter. And then receiver, we've got Mike Evans, Tampa Bay Bucks legend at a 91 overall. One of the more underrated receivers, I think, of like all time, honestly, because he's got 10 straight seasons with 1,000+ yards to start his career. Just a good player, just flat out. He comes in, gets it done year in, year out. Doesn't matter. Yeah, Mike Evans, very good. Chris Olave at an 86 overall, backing him up. George Pickens at an 83 overall, and then Michael Thomas at an 82, as well as Noah Brown, Cowboys legend, Ohio State legend, rounding out the receiving core. So really good group for Dylan's team, honestly. And then at tight end, this is where it gets really interesting because we've got Travis Kelce at a 99 overall, him coupled with Josh Allen. We've seen it with Mahomes for a while, so it'll be interesting to see how much of a bump Josh Allen will get by having that elite tight end on his team. Then we got Dalton Schultz backing him up at an 84 overall. Really solid tight end again. He should be fine. So the offensive line for the Bills is also pretty solid. The defense for the Bills as well is really good. Greg Russo, good young player. Von Miller has really fallen off in recent years, but I think he should be fine enough in the simulation here. He's still an 89 overall, superstar X Factor, so should be really good. They still got Trey White here as well. He was one of the best corners in the league for a while, but popped his Achilles last year, and now he's playing for the Rams. He should still be good in the simulation, though. And then for kicker, we got Harrison Butker, because that's who Dylan had for most of the year. He's an 81 overall here, so he's, really good for a kicker, honestly. Kick returner, I've got Nyheim Hines, 92 speed, 93 acceleration, so he should be really good. And I've also got him returning punts here, so that, should definitely work out. Third down back, we've got Joe Mixon catching all the passes here. And I've also got him at power back, so he'll be getting the vast majority of the carries. So Joe Mixon should put up pretty good stats for Dylan's team here. Then I've got Chris Olave in the slot to help him develop and all that kind of stuff. So our top three receivers for Dylan's team will be, Mike Evans lined up out wide, George Pickens lined up out wide, and then Chris Olave will be in the slot, along with Travis Kelce at tight end. So, definitely a great offense, great team. And, now we are back to the Broncos. So, all things considered, it's every team is pretty well balanced, I think. My offense here is listed at 91 overall. And everyone's teams are right around that, like a 90, 91, 92 overall for the offensive roster. So, it's all should be pretty fun here. And then kind of going through the schemes here, I've got Kansas City playbook for my team to help put up really good passing stats as well as get the running backs some passing work as well. And then since I have Mark Andrews on my team, it'll be really good to have a tight end focused offensive playbook. For Ruben's team for the Browns, I did a Dallas playbook. For both offense and defense, I did take into account the defensive playbooks and personnel and tried to suit those playbooks to best aid that team in winning. So yeah, Dallas playbook for the 4-3 defense that the Browns run should be really good. I mean, Myles Garrett should put up really good numbers. And then Dallas playbook on offense, running the ball, because Ruben's got Nick Chubb and Kamara, Aaron Jones, all those guys. So they should put up really good stats and be just really, really good. And then next up, we've got the Chiefs. So Mason's team, I've got Kansas City playbook there. So again, because he's got George Kittle, having that tight end focused playbook as well as like the receivers, his team should be very good. Slot receiver in Chiefs offense as well is usually really good. So Justin Jefferson might actually put up like 2,000 yards this season. It remains to be seen, but I look forward to it maybe happening. And then same, Dallas playbook on defense should be really good with Chris Jones. Next up, we've got the Cowboys, Ashland's team. I went with Dallas playbook again because she's got Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey. They should put up insane stats with the playbook, the Cowboys offensive line, Joe Burrow, so on and so forth. And then Dallas playbook for defense, which also should be really good. Self-explanatory. Moving on to the Eagles for Curvin, I've got Philadelphia playbook. Usually with like 2 elite receivers like they have with Stephon Diggs and A.J. Brown. Philly playbook is usually pretty good for offense from what I've seen. It's good for the run game. It's good for the pass game. It's not quite as like, I don't know. I mean, it's not quite as good as like Kansas City playbook, but Kyle Pitts isn't quite the elite tight end that KC playbook like really needs. So Philadelphia playbook, I've used it myself in like a few franchises and I really like it. So yeah, definitely should be good for his team. And then Giants playbook for the 3-4 defense. Giants playbook is really good for putting pressure on the quarterback, creating turnovers, all that kind of stuff. So should be really good for Kirpin as well here. Moving on to the 49ers. Once again, Dallas and Dallas. For her team, having the run game with Tony Pollard, Najee Harris, play action pass game with Jared Goff and DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin, all those guys. Should be really good. And then defensive playbook, I went with Dallas as well. That classic 4-3 scheme, putting pressure on the QB, getting Fred Warner, all those interceptions. Should be really good for Danny's team, for sure. Moving on to the Jets for Phillips' team. I went ahead and went with Atlanta playbook on offense, specifically for Lamar and then for Kenneth Walker and those guys. The Atlanta playbook is really good for those dual threat quarterbacks, running the football, putting up those good sim stats, as well as the running backs. So, I really like Atlanta playbook. For Phillips' team specifically, I think it should work really well. And then I went Dallas defense on the defensive side for the playbook as well. Once again, just to capitalize on that good Jets defensive line. So yeah, the stats should all be really good there and help him come playoff time. So moving on to the Pats and Chris's team, I went ahead and went with Philadelphia playbook again. With Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, all that kind of stuff. And for the lack of like an elite tight end, because Tyler Higbee is his tight end, I believe. Philadelphia playbook should be really good with Cooper Kupp as well. So then I went ahead and went with the Giants playbook again for the 3-4 defense. I really like Giants playbook on defense. It's kind of debatable between some other playbooks. Like Atlanta defensive playbook is pretty solid. Baltimore playbook is okay, but I've gotten pretty consistent results with the Giants playbook, so I'm sticking with it here. Moving on to Chase's team, I believe. Yeah, moving on to the Steelers. We've got Kansas City playbook for Chase on account of TJ Hawkinson, as well as all the receivers and the running backs. It should help CJ Stroud come along really quickly. His team, his offense is crazy, especially Kansas City playbook. I mean, it should be awesome for sure. And then I went ahead once again, Giants defense for the 3-4. You've heard the spiel, all that kind of stuff. And then last but not least, once again, we've got Dylan's team, the Bills. I went with Kansas City playbook on account of him having Travis Kelce on his team. Josh Allen should put up really good stats. And then I went Buffalo defense for the 4-3 on account of it being, the Bills. Between Bills playbook and Cowboys playbook on defense, They both are pretty solid. I've got a personal preference for Cowboys playbook, but specifically with the Bills, I do like Buffalo's defensive playbook, so that should be pretty solid. And yeah, we are back on the Broncos here. So yeah, basically for the simulation, what I went ahead and did is in the schedule here, I went through all of our teams. And on this force win column, I went ahead and picked like each team to, win a certain amount of games. And I've got it all marked out to where I know exactly how many games every team is going to win, because there's 10 teams total in our fantasy league. And so out of those 10, only 3 of us had teams that were in the NFC. So we've got Ash with the Cowboys, we've got Kerbin with the Eagles, and who's the last one I'm forgetting? Oh, yeah, Danny with the 49ers. But then we have 7 teams in the AFC, and as we all know, come playoff time, there are only 7 spots available in the playoffs. So I wanted to ensure that all 10 of us could get into the playoffs with our teams so that we could all face each other and then do the head-to-head stuff and then decide the Domihoes draft order based on the results of those games. So yeah, I did force wins for every team so that we all will get into the playoffs and then we can go from there. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for this video. Kind of a long one for sure, but I wanted to go over everyone's teams and kind of show the rosters and kind of explain a little bit more about how it was going to work with the simulation and how we'll determine the draft order. And I'll have more details in the next video as well once we actually start simulating. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed watching this for the most part. Yeah, and we'll catch you later with the next one. Peace.